have a rendezvous with death. At some disputed barricade. It may be he shall take my hand and lead me into his dark land and close my eyes and quench my breath. I have a rendezvous with death. And I to my pledged word am true. I shall not fail that rendezvous.
All right, all right. I hope you like that trailer. I wanted to get into video editing, so I had that idea. Thought I'd make a trailer. Hopefully this war is worth it, right? Guys, so this episode seems to be like a very special one. I never had it that I invited 3 guys, and one of them just told me he hurt his back and he needs a couple of minutes. I don't know if he's gonna show up. I told him, like, if you're in pain, dude, like, you don't have to come on.
I'll tell you anything.
And the other guy
Right amount
is Noraus. He doesn't answer me. So, like, I never had that before either. 37 episodes in though. It's quick. Still a pretty good track record, I'd say. But the high is always there to, you know, show up. Like, if he says he's gonna be there, he's gonna be there. Good or bad. Chossuh made it too. All right.
My back's killing me.
What did you do, dude?
Carrying shopping, man. I'm fucking old. I'm a boomer now.
Got them. The Hortlings are too soft. I always say it, right? I mean, they're hurting their backs going to when they're shopping. You can't go to war like this. What are you doing?
How does the video work with this this jazz?
Oh, what? You have video too. Oh, wait a second. How do I sort this out now? Let's hope I don't leak any information when I'm trying to fix this. Let me have a look. Right, I'll try to... I guess I'm gonna switch it like this, yeah. Yeah, so I have to be a little bit flexible, I guess. Can't fix it like this easily. But yeah. So Noraus, I don't know if he's gonna show up, and I'm sorry if anyone got hyped for Noraus, but he literally, like, he's Chinese, let's not forget. He's Chinese, he's in a different time zone, so I don't know what time it is in China right now.
He told me that he might be drunk.
He might be drunk.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't tell me anything. So maybe he got so drunk that he fell asleep.
He might just like appear randomly, dude.
Yeah, which is fine. I mean, it's not like any sort of serious thing, you know. But yeah, guys, while I try to get your cam to work on my stream here, you guys want to actually talk about the war? Like, what do you guys like? What's your take on it? Is other Hortlings hyped?
That's so hot.
Yeah, pretty hyped. I mean, I think this rolls off the back of all the stuff they've been doing with DEF, right? The Joint Expeditionary Force. So,
do you think
this is just kind of like a continuation of what Alpha Star and Johnny and all the other people have been pushing through for the past month?
So, one thing, first of all, I'm going to turn you up a little bit here. Do you think it's this is a result actually of what the DEF did?
I think that plays into it for sure. I think, yeah. Well, also, I mean, from my perspective, I think the key element was maybe the actual deployment, the super deployment going north from the Imperium. Can you guys hear me? I'm not sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The super deployment from the Imperium.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day during the last tribute thing that Goons did, you know, when they had I don't know what it was, like 1,000 Titans, dude. Fuck me, it was a huge amount. Do you remember how many Titans they had? During the last
yeah. It was like, I think the number that was going wrong was 1,000, but at the same time, you know how it is, right? A hyped move up is one number. The day-to-day numbers, in a fight, it's a different thing. So who knows?
Yeah, but I think I don't know, like I think people kind of smell the panic. Maybe, I don't know.
Smell the panic? You mean Imperium smells the panic?
Oh, both sides did.
Yeah, you know what? This kind of developed into more than I expected, to be quite honest, right? Like, of course, if I was Willy or Mittens too, I would claim like I had this massive foresight and I would have predicted it, but I didn't see this coming all that much so quickly.
Yeah. Sorry, I think I keep like losing connection. I'm not sure what's up with my.
You sound alright.
You sound fine, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. Cool.
Yeah, video is fine too, and I'm just gonna.
I'm just really glad
switch
that
it now.
we actually have something like this in Eve. Like, it's been such a long time that we have an actual kind of an old-fashioned war, and I'm just glad that it's starting to shake something up. Something's happening, and regardless of like who wins or who loses, it's going to be fun either way,
Noraus actually had a big announcement about the war, but since he's not on, I'll be making it on his behalf later. Yeah.
Okay.
Later. Well, why don't you do it right now?
Nah, there needs to be some suspense.
All right, so I think I got the stream stuff all sorted now. It was a little bit of a mess here, but there he is, drinking wine like a fine gentleman.
Yeah, man. Dude, I've got to like fix this back pain somehow.
Yeah, I hope you get better. Like, I had that once. I don't even know what you call it in English, but when you hurt your back, like
I genuinely think I've slipped a disc, man. Like, it's fucking atrocious.
Well, that's heavy, I guess. I mean, I don't know how painful that is, but if you throw it out, exactly.
My legs are numb. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I'm pretty sure it's a bad thing.
If your legs are numb, that's a bad thing for sure.
Yeah, you might not see me tomorrow.
Well, was that part of Metani's plan? That's the question here, right?
Yeah.
It might have been. Like, special agents from the Black Hand went to your shop. Yeah. But yeah, but like, let's say Noraus had an announcement. What would he be announcing, right? Let's just assume he would just simply say like they're gonna join the war, and then that's it, right? Or do you think Fraternity has a special role here? What do you guys think?
Shouldn't Chossuh know this?
I do know this.
Chossuh probably knows this.
Well,
that's so hot.
I think it's up to everyone to find out.
Exactly.
I can't give dank leaks, my dude.
Oh, look, Noraus there now.
There's a Noraus. I know I have to adjust the camera again, but I get it done.
Kendarr. What?
It's the Kendarr. Now it's Kendarr, High, chossuh, and Noraus. Now it's 4 guests.
I'll drop if you want, Pando. If
No. Oh, you just don't get a portrait on stream, that's all. I have to fix this. What's up, Noraus?
Hi, what's up? Sorry, I almost missed it. Sorry.
Are you enjoying your evening, Noraus?
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice, man.
Been very good. How are you, man?
I'm good, dude. Yeah, not too bad.
I was warned you would be drunk when you come on.
I'm pretty much the same. Couldn't open them eyes.
Alrighty. So I already asked the other guys. So, Noraus, like, what's your take on this thing? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing in this war? What's your role? What do you think?
Oh, wow. I thought we were talking about whaling instead of a war. Really?
Whaling?
Really? Yeah. That's what Joseph told me.
Did I?
It was like... what I thought about this war.
I might have misled you.
You don't want to talk about the war?
This is
we don't have to.
No. I'm totally fine talking about a war now.
Alrighty.
I'm totally fine talking about war. I just think like we've been through a lot of wars, right, and coronations. But this time the involvement is so spread out. I can see I've made 60 blues yesterday myself. Yeah, but so
Well,
I
another
think the
day for
coronation could
lieutenant.
do better. Oh, come on, hi. I mean, the coronation can definitely do better. Like I had a fleet I think 6 hours ago. We reinforced the para bases I have. We could have done more if I had the better conditions with my allies, right? We have 400, and Guns already have one full fleet, plus a cap fleet, of course. But we could have done better. Yeah. I think that's
Well,
one of our strengths, also our weakness, that we have so many people, but we need to figure out how to use that.
if you go back to
Advantage, number advantage, actually, to fight someone. Is that bothering you? Hi?
Well, I was
Yeah, I
just gonna
mean,
say, if you go back to the old days, right, and you had like Killer Bee running everything, who was quite good at coordination, and you kind of
yeah,
need somebody to do all the coord.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
going to
who-
be
Ah.
Villy, right? This time, Villy or PGL.
Oh god, not Pro God.
Do you remember
Well,
the
it's-
drip bomb in Gemini?
If Pro God is
Well,
coording, you guys are gonna lose the war. Putting my money on it now.
Panda
Yeah.
mate, actually,
Okay,
Villy
I
asked me
wouldn't have it
to,
that way.
Villy, like, I was talking to Villy earlier, and he asked me, why didn't you invite him on the stream?
I had him on once, but he only jumped in,
Okay.
and I don't know. He's a little hostile at the moment.
Yeah,
Talk against
my
Asia.
yeah, my last encounter with him didn't end so well.
With Willy.
Yeah.
Why
Should
did you?
definitely
Oh,
get
were you guys on the
I,
on the
I think
shit
I think
talking
I
thing?
like accidentally insulted him. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, that's what happened to me, right? And it was on Noraus stream, wasn't it?
I mean, if we can't trust Willy, like for coronation during this war, we already lost, right? Like, who else can do that?
So you guys say it's not an upgrade from the last time. Like, if we go with the name, what will be 2, right? Let's just assume everyone agrees to that. So you think this time around the leadership, like the top guy, is maybe not,
Oh, I wish Vince was 21. I say, yeah.
It's all about somebody being autistic enough and having the time to properly coordinate. Like, I'm pretty sure Killer Bee was a student when he was doing the NBC stuff, and he was always around, and we were good at coordinating. And I think to have so many people and not have somebody who's active enough in all the time zones and doing a lot will be hard.
That's a good point as well, actually, because it'd be interesting to see who actually steps up. Because like a lot of the old guard are just boomers now. They they're getting on in life. They had families. They have kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like old, that's the word you were looking for.
Boomer, dude. That's the official word for that. Anyone over 25 is a boomer.
But it's very true, not only for the leadership type, right? In general, the EVE population gets older and older and older. So you have less of those hardcore players. You really do.
Yeah.
And
that's true.
would be nice if we would get some fresh blood in there. So, so
It's
young
the
kids
same
can
on the
pick it up.
line member level.
The
The average experienced players gets older.
Yeah.
They lost interest. They have other priorities. Yeah.
Just laughing at your chat, dude. Like just like insulted half of them. I think calling everyone boomers.
Boomers is alright. You can get away with boomers.
Okay.
Last time, like,
Let's see how far I can push it.
when Noraus was on, so you asked about Willy, right? So when I had Noraus on the first time, I don't know how long ago that is. Actually, it was like episode, I don't know, maybe 10 or so.
Probably a year.
Yeah, it's half a year at least ago, right? And then I said on the on the CSM, there's only a Willy left as an FC because Killer Bee wasn't there anymore or whatever. And like, who's gonna challenge his opinion? And he always got strong opinions. And I think I chose like a little bit of a wrong word and said like he's a little close-minded, or like, I didn't know how to say it. Like he got a thick head or whatever you want to call it in English. I don't even know. And then he got offended, and I had him jump on, and I had to correct it a bit.
He has a thick head.
I don't know how to like. That's the German expression. So I
Oh,
couldn't.
idiot.
I didn't know how to like.
Maybe he took that literally, dude. You're just insulting his head size. It kinda
Maybe,
got personal, you know?
maybe. No, I think I explained myself afterwards, and then I was all right. But like, yeah, he's quick to take offense there.
Bless.
That's all right. 2 weeks later, someone actually
Well,
challenged
what
his
would-
opinion, and
Yeah,
he started a
what would
war
Eve
with
be
it.
without really, dude? Like,
Yeah,
that's only
the
2
thing.
weeks.
Well, the 2 weeks thing is like when he decided to go after GOTG because of the CSM stuff, right?
Oh, you mean that?
And that
war?
was
yeah.
and that was because of Sword Dragon. So it's like kind of was there maybe an FC that challenged him in his opinion, and that's now there's a war, right? So I'm gonna claim I was totally like on point with the prediction, but who knows? Who knows what actually happened?
Panda, how much confidence do you have in the Goon FC team yourself?
Wow, that's a hard question.
I'm obviously returning, so he has full confidence. High.
You know what?
All right, Kendarr. You're
I mean,
benched.
that's one difference to World War B1, right? Imagine, like, think about where Innet was back then. First of all, we were way smaller, right? We were like, what? Maybe half the size, actually. And we weren't even in the war directly because we were in Syndicate burning all that stuff down. So this time around, we're gonna be directly involved. And for, like, I don't even remember when was the last time we actually were defensive in a war. So it's gonna be like there's gonna be a couple things that are
I get
different.
you. Exactly.
So for us, definitely. Number wise, I don't know. Like it's hard to predict how the numbers are gonna work out, right? But the FC team is also a little different, right? We had years of working together by now, and we have good coordination. So with Asher, like he's always up for like fun stuff, like crazy ideas even, and very open to discuss strategy. So I like it a lot at the moment. So
I know what High was trying to get at there. He's trying to like poke some holes, and I don't blame him. But looking back on the casino,
was it?
right, who was there then that like isn't here now, more or less?
CO2, Big X.
All right, so yeah, but he flipped obviously. But who on the FC team of the coalition back then? Like it was all the same, and I was one of them. It was all the same shitless back then.
Well, I mean, all I was Panda makes a good point about the quad. I was going to bring that up later, but when Goons came down here, a lot of the FCs seemed super duper inexperienced and just wouldn't take fights or would do really weird stuff. And you could tell they didn't know how to use the doctrines. Like John was probably the only competent one. And I feel like there's going to be some issues with them having to learn stuff in quite intense situations. But you're right about the coordination. I think working on both sides of the fence, like throughout Eve career, like for Snuff, working with Init heavily, I have to say that the Init coordination is very easy, and I'd have to say Imperium coordination was good. Like X47, you're right. Asher definitely is very open to stuff, and their coordination is very good.
yeah, I think like a lot of times when it comes to like these big roles like Asher in X47 and so on, being like the what's the title again? The fucking
Sky Marshal.
The Sky Marshal, exactly. But basically, like he got the he has the final word on stuff, right? And it's like a lot of times I feel like people have like that ego in the way, right? Like I'm the boss. And as soon as tensions come up, and they always come up in wars, right? Like in FC teams and stuff, someone doesn't do stuff the way you like it. Like just the other day, I did something and Chance didn't like it, but we know each other for so long, right? We can talk about that easy peasy. And then, like in this case, X47, we didn't know Asher all that well because we didn't work. Like we usually do our own thing, right? We're not on Goon comms or anything. We talk about stuff sometimes on Discord. But it's not like we are like close friends. We work more with Snuff than we did with Goons, to be quite honest, right?
Yeah,
so there was some tension going on leading up to X47. I forgot what it was about. But Asher did a good job of managing that, not getting too defensive about stuff, and taking some critique the right way. And then we fixed the problems. And I mean, we won X47, so It was all
The
good.
only problem with X47 was the first fight, Goons didn't EM therm tank the Erebuses, and if you remember, we and you guys did. And then Goons died and we didn't.
One of my proudest moments, to be quite honest, because like I pushed hard for that. And I wanted to, like, actually on the first timer, Shines actually jumped in his Moloch, right? And it was also completely EM thermal tank, completely banking on that. And for those who don't understand why we're talking about this, actually, if you're talking about armor titans and armor titans, it's all avatars and Erebus. That's the Doomsdays are full EM or full thermal damage. And that's one of the disadvantages Panfam had at the time. Panfam couldn't bring shield supers or shield titans because they simply didn't have the numbers for that to be any like effective force, really. We had Test on our side, so Panfam didn't have that option to go EM thermal tank. Like that, you would have gotten trashed, right? So we tanked for that, and not a single inner Titan died, even though it was tried, right, on the first timer. And on the second timer, then, Goons also refit properly and, tanked quite well.
Nothing happened though, right?
Yeah, it's a lot different now.
On the second timer also was a fight.
No, they I think did one Doomsday, then they disengaged, because if you remember, PO jumped behind NC and were out of range for most stuff. I think the DD did a couple things and we just jumped in Hictus and they all tethered up.
You know what? I don't remember it all that much, but I think it was 2 fights though, 2 proper fights.
I believe the last one was PL jumping out of range, slightly out of range, and everyone got cheese tanked. So ever since, people talking about building up a shield titan fleets, because your fact simply doesn't matter at that point. So why not just have all types of damage, right? Instead of getting cheese tanked. Wasn't really pleasant,
I'm not sure if I understood that. Say it again, please.
I mean, after X47, people start to look at we can only have 1, 2 only armor titans or only shield titans. We need to mix it up. What's everyone talking about?
So, like you're saying, everyone has to mix it up.
Yeah, we do have to. Yeah.
Yeah, you're saying after X47, you have to. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
okay. It's a bad idea to do armor or shield separately. You have to do both. But it's interesting that people haven't really done that, right? I mean, sure, people have I know Imperium, for example, has a relatively small shield titan contingent, but it's not, it's still predominantly armor. So
yeah, I mean, in it, for example, we don't have a whole lot of shield super titans. I think Goons have been pushing for that, and they have a sizable amount, enough for what is that coalition called anyway? Is it Papi? Is that what it's called now? I don't even know. Do you have a name, Aiden?
Yeah,
I don't even know.
Yeah, it's Papi. Yeah.
All right. So it's enough for Papi to not be able to fit all EM thermal, I believe, at the very least, right? So at least you guys are forced to bring an Omni tank. You can't just gimp it. So and then I guess half the job is already done for the shield supers and titans, or the shield titans.
Do you guys think there will be a Titan fight?
I don't know.
No, God, no, please.
I mean, all of our rags and levies are armor fit, dude.
Oh, really?
Yeah, full brain.
You get better EHP with shows, pure shows.
He's joking, dude.
I think he's trolling, but maybe they do attempt.
I actually think the Horde. I'm not sure if it still does support, but I think it used to have the armor rag in the doctrine, right?
We've got a couple armor rags too, I'm sure.
Yeah.
When you go into Titan fights these days, anyways, everybody dual tanks.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter anymore, to be honest. At that point.
I mean, I haven't done the mass check again, but I think that pure shield tank, Ragnarok tanks more than a dual tank one, because the PDS just too OP, But yeah, I wouldn't want to have a Titan fight.
Super fighters or?
No, the power diagnosis system
gives
you a bonus shield
EHP.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of like a Keepster PDS. I'm like, what?
Yeah, that's what I thought as well. Yeah.
And I hate that thing. Like that's one of those things. Why? Why do we have this in the game? I mean, yes. I mean, I guess you don't want to get your Keepster ref by just light drones or some shit, right? It kind of seems like that's a cheese. But at the same time, why don't you have like a fight right on 0 on a Keepstar and then involve some small stuff and so on, right? Because that, like, if you show up with Tech 1 frigates, like for example, a Horde fleet were like, or used to be like full of just new bros, like a fleet like that would show up to this fight completely useless, right? If you're like, you can't bring it, but like T1 destroyers or whatever, even cruisers, over time, you're just gonna die to the PDS, and I think that's just sad. But you know.
You can bring it, but it just doesn't work.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, but yeah, but so what do you guys say? Is there going to be a Titan fight, or is there not?
I hope so. I think it would be fantastic for the game to have another big bash. It's been so long since the last one. I think we all deserve it.
Stacked guys though. Like, come on, this is a big blob.
I can't see Goons doing it.
Yeah, no. If you look theoretically here, right? Goons have 300 Titans. You guys have 600. Is there any FC in this channel that would take that fight? Let's be realistic. I wouldn't.
It depends.
I wouldn't.
It always depends.
No, you're ruining narrative, dude.
I would not. To be honest, I would not.
Being realistic here, guys. Right? Come on. It's like numbers are a big thing. Okay.
Titans are especially nerfed, right? Like Titans suck right now. They don't. I think for like a slaved low sec dread, you need like 3 or 4 Titan Doomsdays to kill it. Like Titan Doomsdays suck, and Titan EHP is nerfed. Like for what they're worth, they're useless.
I mean, I think if you cheese tank a Revelation, even without slaves, you can get something like 7 or 8 DDs out of it. With
5
Dead
Doomsday.
Space.
Yeah.
But the DPS isn't that high, right? It's all about the Doomsdays.
Because of the T2 change, it's actually the same as it was with the T1 Dreadfit, So do you pick, having reasonable DPS, but being able to cheese the hell out of a Titan fleet versus?
You know what?
But yeah, if you can AoE Doomsday a hostile draft fleet, you already lost in the fight.
I think there is a way though.
Right, if you waste your
the strategy
DD
Goons is just like 15 or 16 bows on Titans.
Yeah, I mean, on that scale though, think about it. Like, you would have to get the entire hostile fleet basically to warp on that one little spot, and even then, the chances are so slim that you even hit because they're gonna land and then all bump to shit anyway. Like, how are you gonna boss on anything with it, right? So I can see it against like a dread bomb that's all compact in one spot, or carriers, maybe supers, But you'll never wipe out enough Titans for that to work. I don't think. Same goes for Lances, right? Like, so many things have to be perfect, and so many mistakes have to be done by the other side for you to even have that chance, right? So I don't know, but like when it comes to that super like mega ultra fight, it might just happen, but a bunch of things have to go like right for that to happen, right? So both sides need to be willing to engage, so it must be worth it. The numbers need to be kind of in the same ballpark. Like, if you guys bring 2,000 Titans now and we only have 1,000, like, I don't know, right? So I guess we'll see. I mean, there is a defensive advantage, but it's not huge. I think the tricks have been exploited before. The retethering stuff is fixed, I believe. So, like, how much of an advantage is it if you fight on your own Keepster? I don't know. Not that big, probably. So, if I have to take a guess, I think that the chance that the fight kicks off is probably like 25% or so.
I mean,
it would be beautiful.
The Keepstar basically neuters out close for like anti-capital heavy fighter DPS, right? So sure, it doesn't really do much to the Titan versus Titan scenario.
No, it doesn't add much. You have that option of redocking and disengaging. That's the big advantage, I would say. Yeah. But other than that, I mean, the attacker side, like, they have to bring they have to have the balls to, come in and actually warp in, and then, pants off, and let's see.
Pretty sure the server will just crash. if they ran the PDS on like a Keepstar and a fight like that.
Yeah.
That would be disappointing. Let's just all agree then. You know, if it comes to that fight, we're just gonna only have Titans on grid, like nothing else. Only Titans, no faxes, nothing else. Everyone has to leave the system. It's only Titans, all right?
I wish. I remember the last one. I was in the Goo. I was actually in the Goo Mega Fleet with Alice, and we got into system, and it was just constant disconnects and stuff like that, and it was just rubbish. In the end, I just logged off and went away.
Yeah, I have at the moment. I've got disconnects all the time. I'm not sure if that's a German thing or like in general in Eve right now, but like I'm having disconnects all the time.
You're being DDoSed, mate. Somebody's coming.
Yeah, maybe. I doubt it though. I'm not much of a threat, as Billy says, so it's all good.
Not now. You've not got Stukers.
Rip. Captain Jim.
Too bad I can't bump the Titans. No.
I can't bomb Titans. You know what? In BTEG R, that's one thing I tried actually. We jumped in like 50, 60 bombers, but just void bombs, and when the whole like wrecking ball thing was a thing, you know, and we tried to void them all out at the same time. I was like, that could get the job done. I mean, technically, it could, but
if the server is stable.
Yeah, exactly. That was the problem. Everyone had infinite cap anyway, because the server said like, it's like something I'm not gonna calculate today. So everyone had infinite cap, and we were just sitting there in top bombers instead, which was all right. People got to whore on some Titans and stuff, but like I logged off after a couple hours of that.
Have you guys been watching the Matani's firesides? By the way, I feel like he's slowly losing his mind or something. It's quite a spectacle.
I think I watched. I'm not sure if I watched the last one. I think I did.
Circles back to the casino or like every single sentence.
What's the same?
It's just becoming senile, dude.
What's the same?
You've been in the game too long.
In the casino war, it was exactly the same then as well. Every Saturday, it'd be like, kind of want to say it'd be like, what's he going to make up now? Sometimes
where does this like term pubby come from? Actually, don't know the origin of this. I know it's.
I have no idea.
Some Imperium.
I think.
Someone can explain to me why it's offensive.
It's like a Pantheon Alliance's place anymore, and that's all.
I'm going to try and cite some goon like lore here then, and I could be horribly wrong. It comes from the forum Something Awful, which is where the name goon comes from in the first place. And if you're like a puppy, it's basically someone that's external to that community. So obviously that was then kind of adopted into being, that's the ethos inside goons, is that if you're not in goons or you're not in the Imperium, you're a puppy. So it's like you call your guys fam, right? That used to be a big thing in Horde, that everybody called everybody fam. No? Am I wrong? I might be wrong there.
Well, that might have been before my time in Horde, dude.
You're wrong, fam.
But yeah, it was like everybody used to call each other fam from what I used to see back then, and that it's just that same sort of beans, yeah. Beans as well, right? Beans as well.
Wow.
Oh yeah, beans.
But people tried to make that into some big deal, I think, right? Wasn't that,
You get indoctrinated to these terms in Eve, because even now I'll be like playing another game, and if it's got some sort of matchmaking thing, I'll be like, no, I don't want to play with pubbies. I want to play with like my guys, my friends. So yeah.
Yeah, like sometimes when I'm like just out about on the street and then I see someone that I know, I just like randomly fit in a honk into the conversation without even noticing, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of sad.
That was a joke. I wish I did that. That'd be quite funny.
Maybe you did that while shopping, and then someone came from the back. That's how it all happened.
Will ever hang it all up and live his life in his old age, or do you think he's just going to continue being the crazy old man that doesn't actually play?
You know what? I don't see it in the near future, because like he seems to have fun. Like when we had some meetings and stuff like this, like he seems to enjoy this whole thing, right? Like it feels a little bit like an old school war again. And I mean, this could be like one for the ages, right? This could be like, that's what I keep saying. But Like it's probably the biggest war ever in EVE or in all games in general in gaming history, right? Think about it. So I mean, if you don't get hyped for that, I don't even know.
The
So-
I'm
last
looking
biggest
forward to the
fight was
backstabs
World
and
War B, right?
betrayals, dude.
I think we are over that age, to be quite honest. I think Eve grew up a little bit, and it's matured a bit. So I think those backstabbing characters are not as much in the game anymore. I mean,
Alright,
some
we're
got banned, I
joining the
guess.
Imperium.
Yeah, I mean, besides snuff, of course, right? I mean, but
One
that's your
alliance-
trademark, so what you
One
gonna say?
One alliance does need to like switch sides during this, so that'll just be like classic war. It has to happen, right? One of the alliances.
But
My
that's-
money's on Ranger Regiment.
Nah, in it, we'll
No.
bet the knee to Billy. Panda will be kissed with feet.
Yeah, you know what? That's funny though, because like people kept pushing in it to leave the Imperium for ages, right? Like, even before World War B, especially during World War B, then right after because the Imperium is weak, then like over this long peaceful time, let's call it that. And now they're like, oh, now maybe, right? But no, like, especially even if we had plans to leave, like now that would be the dumbest, like, why would we, right? Like finally there's a war and it makes sense to be in the Imperium for us. So, you know, why would we leave now? That would be like the absolute fucking no-go. Like it would never happen during a war. Like the second the war starts, we cannot leave, right? That's impossible. So,
Leave.
you know.
You're never
How
gonna
much-
leave.
Is it like a moral button? Like you can't leave after war started?
All it takes is an ACL change, dude.
How much space does Dracarys and Ranger Regiment have? Because could you imagine them just like switching sides and switching all the keep stars
Zero.
and space? And
They don't have the guts. No. Sorry. They don't own any keep stars. They don't have any.
I don't even know.
Oh, never mind.
I've been playing with them for like maybe 3-4 years.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guys they are. When they lived in deck, we used to get.
It's kind of funny, the Ranger Regiment, you know, if you look at that map, Ranger Regiment actually moves up like counterclockwise nearly a fully circle around the map, right? They got evicted like, every time they move to a new place.
They're a nomadic alliance, dude.
But didn't you just move into new space, kinda? Aren't you in the process?
Let's
Noraus
not talk
went
about
to
that.
me.
But you can't just point your finger like that. Come on.
The best solution is initiative invite high intel to the leadership. I mean FCT, right?
Wait,
We,
what?
Yeah, would you FC for initiative? High?
Of course you would.
I mean,
You'll love it.
Yeah, I believe you will love it.
We've got the perfect
feel like-
F1 drones, perfect, perfect discipline in
Half
fleet. Everyone
or
always
most
takes
of
every
it is
warp
like
instantly.
it, though, right?
Everyone is aligned. You'll love it.
I don't think Inna likes us that much, Pando. I mean, me and Tao are still, we still respect Pando and Darkshines, who worked with you guys for a long time. Yeah, it's not like we're
Yeah.
against
Well,
anyone.
let's
Wait a
talk about
second.
that relationship breakdown, guys.
But wait a second. So you remember, like, I think FC wise, we mix really well, right? Like the two of you and then our FC team. But the member base, it's not possible. You remember that one time we had a joint Discord?
That was
We had to
Freddy.
shut it down. Like, it wasn't Fred, it was you guys. We had to shut it
No.
down because it got out of hand. Like I couldn't believe it, how spurgy Snuff is.
Problem in
Good
Trig
beard.
when all the Snuff Corps joined us during the shutdown.
Dude, you know what? We didn't actually say anything, and it was like Nada Red and stuff. People who were already in Trig before we joined, and like you had like some really terrible people who are now in like Dreadbomb, I think. So fitting. So that was like talking bad shit. I just remember sitting there reading the chat and being like, "What the fuck?"
I can't really comment on that period, can I? Because I
Yeah,
go-
you can't. You
So-
can't just get-
So is Snuff joining the war in any capacity actually?
I mean, this is how I see the war happening, right? I see the blobbing everyone because goons are just full of, PvE people. All those people just leaving to other alliances because they don't care about the war as much as they care about making money, and they all leave. All their, shitty alliances just kind of dissolve off, and it's just kind of goons that actually want to PvP and in it, and then they kind of just have to turtle and leave. I see it more as a grind. I think there'll be a few good fights, and that'll be it. And Snuff is very much a lazy alliance these days. We're not one for the big blob fights, so no.
But like, so I mean, but then what happens with like after what will be like the first one, right? The goons lost all their space entirely, basically, and then they rebuilt fairly fast. Like it was quick. So they didn't
It's
leave
like-
then. Why would that change now? And I think like, so let's just assume we would get steamrolled, right? Which I don't think is gonna happen. I think like everyone's gonna be set up for like harassment and grinding stuff and stuff like this, but it's not gonna be a fast like rollover kind of thing. But let's just assume goons would lose all their space and all their structures and everything, right? And including in it, obviously. Then I don't see PanFam putting anyone in Delve to hold that space. You know, they're not gonna move out of Delve. So it's always going to be like that. Are you going to make that like massive blue donut coalition and then take control of Delve and hold it, right? But I don't see that happen, to be quite honest. So
Neither do I. It's all right, Panda. We'll take that space, and then we can work within
That's
it. Make a
that's
big
the power
RMT
shot
empire.
we're talking about.
they what?
What did you say, Noraus?
No, what did you say?
I said we'll take that space, the Snuff, and then we can work within it and make a big RMT
Oh.
empire.
An RMT empire, like, let's not talk about that, I guess. I mean, there are some rumors. Unless someone here wants to talk about those rumors, like, we're just gonna
So
ignore it.
not RMT rumors, but I've heard rumors that apparently this coalition isn't going to let the Imperium rest. No matter where they move, they're going to chase them down. Now, this was said in the Casino War as well, and by the end of it, everybody was like, "No, just let them fucking go," except for PGL, who did try to do something as we were taking Delve.
Yeah.
But then
I could see them
PL
doing
went for
it.
them after Ingwell. That's really bad.
Thing is, though, do you really want to kill off alliances when the game is pretty shit? So,
Can't. But you can't kill Alliance.
well, you know what I mean. You can kind of. Goons are very much I don't think Init would die, but I think if you pushed Goons hard enough where the members couldn't rat for long enough, then they would kind of become incapacitated.
I don't, you know what, obviously I'm slightly biased, whatever. I don't see that happen in any way. Like, I don't see anyone moving enough firepower into Delve long term to keep that under control. Like, I don't think that's a viable option. And then people aren't going to be hyped for that after like a longer time. Like you said, there was plans after World War B to do the same. So
it'd be really sad if people just glass Delve and Fountain, and then like what I'm getting at, if the result of this war is that the map is still the same afterwards, I will be sorely disappointed, because one of the things I'm hyped for is like a shuffle around as we see, new entities move around and stuff, because the map in Nullsec is going to change if they glass and Delve. But yeah.
So that's the only thing. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm just going to say, I think what everyone wants is for Goons to die, Delve to be empty, and then GigX to reappear again and CO2 lives in Delve.
That'd be great.
That would be poetic. That's for sure. But yeah, GigX, I think that's always going to be a dream for some people.
Long
I guess.
shot, yeah.
Needs to be a new GigX rise up, right? It's all that's got to happen. If GigX doesn't come back, it just needs more people to be like him. Noraus is going to get dead offended here, but I kind of feel that Noraus is a little bit like GigX, to be fair.
In terms of feeding chaps, or
no, not feeding at all. Just like the way you are, like you're always willing to take a fight, dude, and you always do take a fight.
I take the compliment, but some people telling me that I'm hypocritical. All right, someone in vote says that. Noraus, I thought you just pretending you love good fights. Well, actually,
dude, don't get started on Volta.
you're in bonds. You're like Nullsec, Empire Beaters.
That's always going to be a thing, right? Like you don't take that one fight and then suddenly it's like, oh, look at this, and it's like, it's a typical game that's being played.
If GigX actually wanted to come back, do you reckon be able, like the game would be able to embrace him to come back if he like made an apology or something. I feel like
I
Gigex
think
coming
he
back
already
would be a
tried
good
to
thing
make
for
an
the game.
apology, but it's not like it's not the game that's blocking him from coming back, right? It's CCP. They want to hold up their decision on their end.
Not
Yeah.
feeling.
I mean, I was talking to Gators quite a bit, during the whole episode. He was genuinely saddened by the whole event, and I disagree with
Obviously.
it completely, obviously.
I mean, I
But-
kind of know how it feels, right?
Yeah,
To get banned. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I
true.
you
I
dank
know.
CSM, Mando.
I can tell you guys, like, if you put like all of you guys, like we all have put way too much time, right? Way too much time into this game. And then put it on an alliance leader level who is like so involved, like a little bit polarizing, even put himself out there, kinda, right? Put himself out there to be hated or loved, and and then suddenly you get like backstabbed from your buddy like that. To then say it's not acceptable to have an emotional reaction, I think that's not fair. But we talked about that actually like the last 3 times. Like everyone seems to be on board with like, yeah, he needed to get banned, but forever. Like,
I mean,
isn't
Eve
that
is
crazy?
a video game at the end of the day, and people forget that. We all do it all the time, right? But Eve is a video game, and yeah, you get heated over it a lot
But
because you put a lot of time into it. I mean, I think you're right. I think his comments that he made about, I think he, cutting somebody's hands off was over the top. He probably should have got banned for a while, but not permanently.
Yeah.
can't
I
agree
mean,
with
like,
you.
I think the way I think it happened was that the judge basically went, because he's on the CSM at the time, went to CCP and basically said, "Look, I'm genuinely afraid that he's going to do this because he apparently knows where the judge lives," which wasn't true actually. So he kind of exaggerated the whole thing, and I know Gigex quite well because I was obviously in his alliance for a long time, and that was more he had an angry streak, which is what everyone knows and loves him for,
People
and that just got the
preyed
better
on-
of him on that
yeah.
particular time,
No.
So
At the same time, like I have to agree with CCP though, because from what I heard, my first reaction was the same thing, right? That if it was that one incident now, I think he shouldn't have gotten banned forever.
Yeah.
Like that, which shouldn't be.
totally, like,
But he did something
Sure,
similar
just
before, right?
I
So
thought it was only the once. I thought he only said that the once and got banned for it permanently, which was like, pretty
no.
brutal.
So apparently,
Like,
what
say before
happened? So before that, there was a Croatian guy, and apparently he said to his buddies or to someone, I don't know, whoever leaked it, that yeah, it's gonna be fixed. We're gonna be on the way to him or whatever. We know where he lives and shit like this, right? And then he got warned for that, so he didn't get banned. Or maybe he did get banned for like a month or some shit. But it was like there was nothing big coming out of that. But so if that's not your first time, it's hard to defend it really. But
You've seen people say like a lot of crap before, right? It's just because he's quite a famous person. But then you look at Mitani, and Mitani's done bad stuff in the past, like the wizard hat incident
that
and
bad,
stuff like
though.
that. Dude, didn't he tell somebody to kill themselves?
No,
Yeah,
I mean
he
it was
tried to-
different.
It was blown out of
It
proportion, but it's
really.
Sorry, you
It
guys
was
were
kind
lagging.
of similar in terms of like severity, I think, in terms of like.
I think the wizard head thing wasn't as bad as people make it out, because like he told the story about this guy, right? And then he said like, hey, like if you want to make this guy kill himself, which is obviously a fucked up thing to say and like kind of disgusting, then I don't even know, send him a message or some shit, right?
Yeah, but there's also a doxing thing as well. It wasn't just to kill himself. There's also some
He
kind of
didn't. I
doxing.
don't think he doxed him.
the point really. Telling somebody to kill themselves is not acceptable.
Yeah.
Anyway. Like,
No,
I'm
it
sorry,
isn't.
it's not. Is it? Is it? It's not. And a lot, well, I'm not going to go any further than that. I mean, this would be a good segue into saying that broadcast for reps is real. If anyone
is-
is ever suffering from anything, they need to, get in touch with the guys at broadcast for reps and get some help. Like, we're always here. One thing that anyone can say, if you meet another Eve player in the street, you've always got that instant connection through this community. You play Eve, I play Eve. That's something I've always felt with anyone I've ever met. And we're all here, we're all real humans. We're all here to help each other. Sorry.
Yeah, Nick.
Getting real.
No,
That
you're
was good,
right.
dude, yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Fair.
good shout out. Like all this discussion about this stuff, and there are people that they just need someone like, and also like I wouldn't just say broadcast reps, but also like guys, everyone has some people in corp that they seem a little lonely or whatever, right? And you don't make much of it, but you don't know how much is it. Like not everyone goes out and instantly talks to him. Like just sometimes it's enough to just like listen, like every now and then, and not everyone like goes out and seeks help or whatever, right? So listen to your corp mates. I think that's an underrated thing, right? That's what corp mates are for. So I think that's important.
So John's made a good point as well. Broadcast for reps is an option if you feel you need to come through, obviously, Eve, but you should also, speak to your friends, family, and professionals. But anyway, I think we're getting serious here, so let's just move into another discussion.
Well, it's an important thing. I mean, it really is.
It is.
We've
Yeah, it is,
seen that,
right.
like, it really is.
I was just gonna say as well, like, especially since we have a war happening, it's very important that people kind of don't burn themselves out by doing too much, especially for like grinding and stuff, especially FCs. It's quite easy to burn yourself out, and it will affect your real life as well if you're spending too much time playing video games. So do be careful.
Sure, yeah, don't fail uni because of Eve, guys.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, 100%. Eve, it comes back to the whole Eve is a video game, and I know it's super serious for a lot of us. Like, spaceships in space is serious business, right? Was always the catchphrase. But again, it is a video game. Don't put Eve before your real life. Hopefully, most people don't. I know people that have, and I know people that have paid for it quite dearly. But yeah.
I lost a girlfriend over Eve once.
Well, I'm going to one up you there and say I lost my wife over Eve.
Oh, please, dude.
Yeah, Batista left him.
Yeah, it's tough. Right. Well, how do I get out of this discussion?
So the war. So right then, I see that Horde have moved Death to Hopip. Is it Hopip? I think it's a good staging point. That is for dealing with Fountain. It's not too far to delve either. I don't know where anybody else is staged. Do you know where anybody else is staged, Pando? Yeah.
You know what? I actually jumped into Hopip today. There was a dude on the Underdog with a ref, and I had my bump machine, my bump signable, so I was zooming around. I thought like maybe I can bump him off, but he was active, so he wasn't AFK. And I was actually about to say like, war's kicking off. It's gonna get nasty, right? People are gonna talk shit, mad shit, right? Don't fucking let that get to you, right? Please don't. I see people all the time making that mistake. But I jumped in that local, and like everyone was super nice. So, and it was a change, especially from Horde, chossuh. You have to admit, right? You guys sometimes get so fucking bitter sometimes. It's ridiculous. But oh yes. Yeah. Like you're mad shit talkers. Same for Snuff. I mean, Snuff is worse. To be quite honest, Snuff is worse.
Horde is super tough.
Dude. I wanna know like what's your impression of who's the worst shit talker in Horde?
Oof, I don't take names. I just know the general I don't know.
You've got some kind of vibe.
Do you have like a nemesis FC in Horde or something? Like who's your biggest foe? Is an FC or something in the game? Do you have anything like that? Is there something?
Who's my biggest foe?
You should ask.
I don't think I do.
Should ask everybody in this channel that actually. It's pretty good question for all the FCs here. Who is your nemesis in Eve?
Yeah, hi. Who is your nemesis then? Is it Billy?
Darkshine's Moloch.
Darkshine's Moloch. Wait, no, he doesn't have a Moloch anymore.
Ah, shit. All right, it's Noraus.
Noraus, you have been called out. Who's your nemesis then?
I'm pretty sure you're not talking about FC scales or something else,
Oh, that Rev that you tried to bump off the station was Mark Maven, dude. He's one of my guys.
Yeah, that sounds like the correct name.
Mark Maven's a famous guy.
Oh, I see. What is he famous for?
Doing stupid shit on stream.
All right. Shout out to him.
And also, he's very funny. He's a very funny guy, though.
No, it seemed to be all right.
Shout out to Mark Maven, I guess.
Yeah. All right. So, anyone got a nemesis here? Noraus, who's your nemesis? Is it Fulcrum? If I have to take a guess, yours is Fulcrum, right? Noraus?
No. Like,
Oh, it's not. Who is it?
he's totally a child. I'm not taking that. But I think EGL maybe, or really, because I have yet to win
You-
one of them
Oh.
fleet fight yet. Yeah.
What about Alice, Noraus? Is it Alice?
Oh yeah, Alice. That's right, Alice. You're right. Yeah, I need to win Alice for once.
Alice is a good.
Mine is definitely still, and he's not very active these days, but he's Killer. It's Killer B. Mine is 100% Killer B, because when he was in PL and we lived in Curse with Space Violence, and he was in Curse with PL. Oh my god! Like, he killed my 40s all once, and I got so mad over it. Then he killed it again after I got another one down. Definitely Killer. And then I just think in the last fight I remember having with Killer was in Hikona when I was still in Goons actually, and SV deployed there. And yeah, he bought a good fight basically for us, gave us a good fight, which was nice of him. So I think we like patched it up and got over it. I mean, at the time in Curse, he was a way better FC than me. When he was taking PL and hitting Provi, he was really good FC back then. Not that he's not now, he is now, sorry, but like I was still learning. Let's say I'm
the
always learning.
difference in level back then.
Yeah.
Never stop learning, dude.
That's it.
What
You
about
don't.
you?
The day you
Yeah.
think you're done learning as an FC is when you become a shit FC. You
Yeah.
never stop learning.
Very
FC.
true. Very true. I mean, it goes for a lot of disciplines, though, right? For a lot of sports and competitive stuff. I would say that all applies there. Like the second you think you got it all, you know it all, you know, that's where it usually goes downhill.
You were obviously just asking a minute ago the best shit talker in Horde. I tell you, the best shit talker in the Imperium in local is definitely John Hartley. There is nobody better than John. I remember watching a video once, which is NC fighting Bastion, and John was in Bastion at the time, and they've got full comms on their side on the NC fleet that you're watching, and the primary John and they kill him, and later on somebody says, like, just a random line member, did we kill John Hartley? And somebody says, yeah. And they go, good, fuck that guy. And it's just because of his fucking in local.
I take that stuff as a compliment. If I was John, I would say like, fuck yeah, that's a compliment for sure. Whenever I get headshot, like I can't be too mad. You know what I mean?
Oh, dude,
Like,
there's this guy in it. I'm not sure who it is, but he often does Jackdaws now, no? And he beat me once.
Sedgen?
Yeah, Sedgen, dude. What he does, right, and it's really fucking triggering. What he does, right? He basically waits till I'm in local, and I might not even be SCing. I might just be like there watching and stuff. And then like the moment he jumps out, he has like a pre-written like snarky comment ready to go. And the moment he jumps out, he just like presses enter and leaves. So I can't do anything about it.
he's actually Kendar's old apprentice, I believe. Right? You taught him a
Really?
lot of things.
He's one of my boys. Yeah, he's one of my boys. Definitely.
Shit's
Yeah.
triggering, dude.
Yeah,
Gonna
he's
head
not
off
in
now,
it.
guys. See you
All
guys.
right. Yeah. See you around.
See ya.
I. Yeah, I had to go early, he told me, before the stream.
Yeah.
I said, it's gonna be alright. Kendarr can just, like, oh, let me see if I can just adjust this quick. But yeah, Sedgen, like, he actually just got promoted in it, actually, to a skirmish FC. Oh, now the camera just moved also.
What does that allow him to do now? I don't understand in it.
Well, it's like, so skirmish, you can field a couple caps, not too many.
You just resized my head, dude.
Like, yeah, well, that's just what I do. I've got superpowers,
Okay,
you know.
Fair.
It's like, I'm just gonna fix it quick. But yeah, as skirmish, you can field some caps. You can get SRP for more expensive doctrines, for example, Munich and stuff, right? So, and he has not been in it for all that long.
How does it work in Horde? Like that? Can anyone ping for any doctrine in Horde, or?
Pretty much, yeah. But there are like some caveats to.
If I join Horde tomorrow, how does it work?
You might get someone dropping in and be like, are you sure about that? You might want to spend some time in Horde first before you try and feed them all into an obvious trap. No, but I mean, it is quite flexible. Yeah, Feroxes are fine. Anyone can take Feroxes. But like,
yeah, it's the same here.
They're pretty fluid about things, but on objectives, obviously, like they do you know.
I do have a lot. I know people will criticize for this, and again, it comes back to the whole Eve is a video game thing. I do have a lot of respect for Horde and their stance on sort of recruitment, how anyone should be able to join because Eve is a video game, and I get that. I mean, this comes from me the other day that I had to do an interview for somebody that was coming into my corp, and it's just like, why? Why am I interviewing people to join my corp? It's just this is a video game. Why?
At the same time,
So like
though,
my
sorry, go ahead.
So like, sorry, my corp interview process is basically like if they can handle like 24 hours of shit talk. That's literally it, dude. Like the
You know
moment someone
what?
comes in and like saying, you know, I want to join, we do like an at everyone ping and just get everyone to like just trash the guy as much as possible. And if he's still there at the end of the 24 hours, then he's probably a good dude.
But at the same time, so my corp is very small actually. Like we don't have we're not a massive corp, right? And I mean we're German too. Technically, we have some English-speaking people in there, but it's not all that many. So there's a filter right there. But in general, also that's the first thing I look at is do they fit in from a personality perspective, right? Because I don't want to have someone on comms all day that's just being annoying or being a whatever, racist, sexist, whatever, like some kind of asshole or whatever, right? I don't want that in my corp, right? You know, it's rare that we have to remove anyone, so we filter out way before. We don't even take people in at the moment, but yeah, I think it's very important to actually filter and not just let everyone in. But
Oh, I was just about to apply to your corp, dude. One of my spare tunes. I called it Das Boot.
Das Boot.
Try and say Kendarr's ult, and they'll let you in.
Well, if Kendarr vouches, you know, then I'll let most people in. Maybe not at war times, maybe not hard FCs, but you know.
Yeah, but no, Horde's been pretty flexible, like, and that's one of the things that attracted us to actually, like, originally, like, because we actually applied to Snuff just before we joined Horde, during like when Tri moved to Pureblind, and then Hai was like, should have brought this up earlier when Hai was on the stream, I guess, but like I asked Hai to give us some time, and then like when it got around to us actually being like getting tired of where we were at the time. We had basically the option of either going to Snuff or going to just doing something chill, and we just decided to do something chill completely. And Horde's like a perfect fit for us just because it's there's no expectation on anyone really. As long as you're doing like something, as long as you're doing like a base level of kind of standard stuff that everyone can do.
Yeah, and that relaxed stance as well has made them, in my opinion, a powerhouse in PanFam. I think you guys are probably. I'm not shit talking in COPL, right? But I'm sure you guys are top dogs in PanFam, at least from my perspective, anyway. So it works. It's quite a refreshing take on rather than being really high SP, really elite, and in NCOPL you are, you're a new guy. Come join us. Come chill out with us and fly with us. And it's just I just remember what it's built up from, like over the years when they lived in that one system in Cloud Ring, for example. And it's just like. Yeah,
it's come a long way, dude. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, hats off, really, to taking that approach. I mean, Goons have done the same thing, I think, with Karma Fleet and a few other corps, but that's what the game needs. I think. Imagine you've just started playing Eve Online, and you apply to a corp. You've only been in the game 2 weeks. Okay, I want you to come on comms for an interview. I want you to fill out this application form. I know we do it in other MMOs as well. Or does it just not instantly if I just started the game, I'd instantly quit. I'm not doing that.
I don't know.
It's ridiculous.
Maybe you like it. You know what I mean?
Well,
maybe that is the stuff that you're like, oh shit, these guys take it serious.
As a completely new player to Eve, the game isn't easy as well. It's really, really difficult as someone who's completely fresh.
Yeah, I mean, most people that start, they quit within, I don't know, what was the time span? 24 hours?
Yeah.
They're like, what the fuck? Like, what am I doing? Warping? So, you're lagging.
Sam kind of wrote it in its members if they made
Chossuh,
it like a.
you're completely lagging out at the moment.
Yeah, hello?
Oh, no, it's better. Try again. We didn't hear shit.
Right, hello?
Yeah?
Yeah, my internet's terrible, dude. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can. Try again.
Alright, cool. Yeah, so do you think if they like changed the way it works so that you, for example, you had like a super user per person, and all of your accounts are attached to the super user, and then this super user is what then you use to vote, on a CSM member. So rather than, might is right and people with 40 mining tunes can, or, bot farms or whatever, or cloaky campers can just vote in whoever they want.
I mean, if it was technically possible.
Um,
Are you lagging again?
but-
God damn it. Alright. I didn't understand any of that, but
okay.
like I think so you're talking if you could get all chars, like every person only has one vote, right? If that was possible,
Yeah, so,
and I
like,
think technically it's
basically-
not possible.
No,
That
it
would
should
be better,
possible.
yeah.
I mean, you could change like the EULA to say that you're only allowed one super user, like one super account, right? And then that's just like a kind of
A
the
bannable
top
offense
node.
then. Are we gonna ban people for it? What's the punishment then? You want to ban people for
Well, you
voting?
have
with
it
ads?
against that you can't share your accounts like that. So why not add get into the EULA that you can only have one super user, and then you just tie in all of your accounts into this one super user, right?
Yeah, or like I thought it was an interesting proposal is that you have a physical vote, which I'm not sure if that's actually as good as it sounds. But then you have to travel somewhere to throw in your vote, and then all these guys with 200 accounts, they're like, yeah, I'm totally gonna travel 200 jumps to go vote.
By post, dude.
yeah. I mean, there's a point though, right? Then you would limit that. And if someone is fucking determined, like you might just travel with like 4 or 5 jars, you might just do it. And then maybe that's worth it? I don't know.
Yeah, because I think this has to be addressed because otherwise, have I gone again?
No, it seems alright.
All right, so yeah, I think this has to be addressed at some point because Eve is an old game now. It needs fresh people in it, and so there has to be some better way to kind of retain dudes.
What about another approach? So the CSM is being voted in. There's 10 dudes that made it on just by the votes. And then from all those candidates, CCP can pick another 2. Right? So to get that diversity. So they might just say, okay, we've got these guys and they claim to be experts in these areas, but we're missing the wormhole guy, for example. In this case, we didn't get Exuki back on. I should have, you know what? I kind of regret not pushing a little bit more for our guys to go vote, but I wanted to stay out of it. But Exuki isn't back on, and we didn't get Loroseko on either, right? Which is not a good thing for the CSM, I think. So they could then say, okay, we're missing the wormhole guy here. Let's pick the wormhole guy with the most votes at least, and then we have this, like, they can fill those holes then maybe. That could be one way at least.
I'm going to run for CSM Pando one day.
You gonna run?
Are you going to run? Not me. Are you?
I'm not gonna run, no. I don't think so.
So if I'm still playing Eve by this time next year when the CSM ballot comes up, yes, I am going to run. Depending if there's many other FCs running as well, because I think on the CSM there should be a fair balance with the nullsec CSM representatives between like FCs and empire builders, I should say, because they're two interesting perspectives, I think. But there does also need to be a strong low sec, because low sec's losing out massively, I feel. And I'm actually working on an article for a Reddit post, which sounds really bad, I don't know, but about trying to what CCP could do to try and reinvigorate low sec and make it a thing again where alliances can like flourish. Because I don't feel at the minute that they can.
Well,
maybe you guys disagree.
They have Phantomite on now, right? So
Yeah, they do
Phantomite
it
is gonna push for low sec stuff, I'm sure. And he seems to be a smart guy. I voted for him, so I'm convinced he's gonna bring some good stuff up.
He's very small gang focused though, so I don't know if he is.
He has
focused
seen
on
larger
large
scale stuff too, though.
True. But you
So
never know. end of the day what the CSM are discussing here because it's all covered under the NDA. But yeah, I encourage anyone that plays the game. This should run for CSM. This should, if you feel passionate about it, if you've played it for a long time and you've got a good understanding of the game as well, like you should, and the game's problems, let's say, because at the end of the day, you know, the CSM is our conduit to push the CCP to make the game better.
Yep. I don't know. Sorry, I'm distracted. DBRB, like, Boat is actually in chat and said, like he's not invited or whatever. Like, he's on my list, actually, so I'm trying to to catch him. He's on my list. He's definitely one FC character, right? Like, I have to have Boat on one day. So that's why I got distracted. But I disagree that everyone should run for CSM. That's for sure. Like, there's a lot of people that should definitely not run for CSM. Right? And that includes a lot of people that are not on the CSM, but have been on the CSM before, that had no business being there. So,
yeah, the troll votes. Yeah, okay, yeah. I can't remember the guy's name, but I know exactly who you're on about.
The troll votes? Are you talking about Olmeca? No.
No,
I think Olmeca was legit.
Yeah, no, the guy. God, what was the guy's name in Goons?
Xenuria?
He was in Karma.
Is it Xenuria?
Yeah, I think that was it. Yeah.
He ran again, right? But he didn't have the goon votes, so he didn't make it out of the second or third round. But yeah, I don't know why anyone would like troll vote anyone on, but I guess it's funny once. So we heard the joke and we don't have to do it again. Hopefully. But yeah, I don't think everyone should run for CSM.
If you were on CSM Panda, would you want to get Bushing back in all of its glory?
I don't think that's the power a CSM would have. I can tell you though, if I would have been on the CSM while they discussed this stuff, I would have pushed for a different change. I wouldn't have kept the bushing the way it was. People found it oppressive, and I can see that point. And I never said it's not oppressive in some way. There's a lot of things that are oppressive right as we speak, right? Including bombers and stuff. But I would have pushed for a different approach of a fix, but you know, it is.
I always thought it was too easy to. It was too safe in the sense that it was very easy to make mistakes. It was a very forgiving way to finish an objective or something, or kill a super or oracle or whatever.
I would have restricted it by class rather than numbers. So I would say that like the 25 ships only, if it's 25, forgive me if it's not, applies only to like anything above a frigate. But I would have left frigates, like you should be able to boost. In my opinion, you should be able to boost 250 frigates. And I know the Stukas were super strong because you both have a lot of experience with those. But I feel the problem with the game was more on the side of when people bought, like, going back a while here now, rocks or the Eagle fleet. Because if somebody showed up with, or the Ravens are a prime example, if somebody showed up with those doctrines, if you didn't have a boost fleet, you couldn't counter them.
Well,
so instantly then it puts the meta into I'm always going to show up in these, because if they don't come with that boost fleet, I'm at an advantage, a massive advantage, which is not really where, in my opinion, not really where you want the meta to be. You want it to be more, is flat the right word there? Like, if you bring Munins, then I've got a lot of options against Munins. If you bring Boosh Eagles, I've not got a lot of options against Boosh Eagles unless I'm running a Boosh Doctrine. That's my opinion on that.
I would have loved to have seen something like a mini micro jump drive fatigue that builds up like a normal kind of jump fatigue.
Yeah,
that's kind of what I've said.
Oh yeah, I think you said something similar a long time ago.
Technical implementation is what stopped them from doing that. I can promise you that.
It's a shame.
Now. It's not anything
to
do with. It's how can we fix this with doing the least amount of dev work. That's not me being criticizing CCP, because I understand that dev time is very important and so on, and they don't want to spend ages implementing this new mechanic or copy and pasting this code that does jump fatigue to be micro jump drive fatigue, for example. Plus, then it opens up the whole it would have opened up the whole thing around like, oh, here's another fatigue timer, which people are really or were really touchy in the past about fatigue when it was first introduced anyway, and now you're introducing it on a subcap or a subcap level, they would have probably got dead touchy about it then.
You know
as well.
what I would have done is probably not even fatigue. I would have just said, okay, whenever you get boosted, your MJD gets extra cooldown. Just have it just a second, right? So you can boost once, then you have 6 seconds total, like if you have all 5. Then you get boost twice, that's 7 seconds, 8 seconds. And then the boost fleet doesn't work anymore because the cooldown is too long. Scepters can warp on you, they can scram a lot of you, and you can't afford to boost and then always lose 5. Boost and lose 5 again. That's not working, right? So
I think
that would have fixed it too.
Yeah. I would have, like it's kind of same idea. I would have liked it to make like a tactical decision. Like, do I boost now, or do I, try and tank for a little bit longer, try and such that I can, maybe get a better, more opportune boost later on to maybe do a bombing run or something like that. Yeah. But just making it harder because it is in the original formation. It's just too forgiving. Like you can make a mistake with it and then it's still fine because you've got plenty more boosters available. So I think this 25 squad thing was a little bit of a knee jerk.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
So a question for both of you then: were you involved? So did the CSM? This isn't a criticism of the CSM, but did the CSM come to you guys and say, okay, CCP want to do something about boosting? Have you got any suggestions? Did you get that? Like, did anybody ask you guys? You two were both like prime candidates for this because you both run or used to, well, still do, and used to run the obviously Stukas. So did anyone approach you and ask for your feedback on it? I know you don't represent the community as a whole, but you kind of like represent the doctrine or the use of the punishing use of the doctrine.
All right, chossuh, you first.
I didn't really get asked specifically, but I always give input on stuff. So
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, when they approached me, also like they weren't so specific, saying we are we're looking at fixes or whatever. But you could tell out of the conversation, like they wanted to know, like, what can we do? Like, where's the danger of like where could we fuck up if we would ever do it? And it came up like over a long time, actually, over and over and over again.
They did at least approach you and ask you then.
Yeah, I mean, they never asked directly, so I didn't have the chance of like suggesting
situation, right?
an
Because
exact change.
In the one sense, the CSM are representing everyone, right? But in the same sense, like these guys don't know absolutely everything about the game. So it's a bit of a strange situation. Like they're under NDA in order not to basically discuss specifics that CCP are working on, and that's obvious why, because obviously people can abuse the game mechanics like that.
Obviously, it's not just that either, is it? Obviously, we're talking from an FC perspective. To us as FCs, I would say that's largely the end all of the game, right? But what about one guy that's flying his MJD ship in low sec solo? Maybe that's like, so it's the balance is hard, is what I'm getting at there.
I hope I didn't leak anything. I don't know what was seen on stream. Please, nobody clip this.
I already took a screenshot through it. I'm sorry.
Yeah. War secrets. No, it was a combo that doesn't have any war secrets. So good. But it was a combo with Noraus actually, because I clicked on the thingy. So I mean, Noraus, you've been quiet the entire time here. What about the CSM stuff? You guys got a CSM guy on now. Is that, was that a big goal for you guys?
I just feel the populations we have like kind of deserve a representative, Pretty much that's all. I know my CSM has been advocating like the new referral systems because they use a Google service, I think, for now, which is blocked in China. So they kind of want to work around that.
Oh, those kind of issues, yeah. I guess, yeah. That makes sense. But at the same time, it is weird for them to have a Chinese server too, and then make those adjustments, even though they know Chinese players shouldn't be playing on their normal server.
It's a legislation thing, yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of fishy. It's kind of weird, but yeah, I guess it's going to be helpful to have at least like direct input there.
Are you going to run Noraus one year? Because you're very invested in the game. You always have been. So
I'm too old for that. Yeah.
over.
You guys are all getting too old.
He's a boomer, dude. Above 25.
I'd vote
I'm
for you.
26, yeah. So qualifies for boomers.
You're 26, you're too old for CSM. You heard it here first, guys. You need that energy, that youthful energy to get through the CSM and not quit the game right after, because that's
You
oftentimes
do
what
actually.
happens.
I've been losing hairs for the last few weeks.
For the last few
130.
weeks, what has been going on in the last few weeks that causes
I
so
don't
much
know.
stress?
It's probably just about the time,
Hmm.
I'm going to have my 27th birthday in like a few months, October.
Oh, dude, in a few years, you'll be like me. I lost all of my hair in 1 year.
Oh,
But-
no.
But you look good with a bald head, so that's lucky,
Yeah,
right?
thanks,
I don't know how
Yeah.
I would look with a bald head, so like I hope I don't lose my hair.
I think it's surprising, actually. I think everyone is afraid of like losing their hair. But actually, like going bald,
It's freedom.
it's fine. Like,
So,
it's not
How
a big
old are you,
deal.
Pando?
I'm 32.
Oh, thank God for that. Do you know, for a
Oh,
second
dude,
there,
you're a
thought-
doomer.
I thought I was like the oldest dude on the stream.
I'm older than you?
Well, I'm 32, so when's your
All
birthday?
right. January.
Okay, mine's in December, so yeah.
Shit, boys,
You're
I'm
oldest,
31.
dude.
Let's go.
Sorry?
I'm 31.
Okay, cool,
We're all,
that's
we're
fine.
all,
I
we're all
could
the
now
same
we
age.
all feel dead
He's the
old.
baby,
'cause it's
dude.
like, yeah. It's so funny.
I mean, I'm Asian. I'm not trying to say that. No, we always say that.
But you know what? I think one day I'm gonna have a bald head too, because I think like to just take a shower and then just the easy, like you just have to fucking have a towel, boom, you're done. It's like
Yeah.
that freedom
So,
must be
like,
fucking awesome.
First time you actually shave your head, like really close, for like a zero cut or something like that, it feels so weird, dude. It's such a weird feeling to like touch your own head without any hair on it.
I don't know.
Very tempted during the lockdown because obviously just going around to, I think it's tomorrow that all the hairdressers reopen. I haven't had my hair cut since we went into lockdown, so
I'm cutting my own hair, dude. It's tough.
I remember you saying, yeah, I'm very tempted to stand in the mirror and get some graders and just
You know
whip
what?
it all off.
You know what? For everyone who thought about it, like, do it. That's
It's
also
cheap as fuck. Like I save so
it's-
much money not having to bother with my head, dude.
that-
Also, like
that's
where
true.
I live, it's basically open already. Like,
It's leave, so for me, it's £10, so a month. So could just sub an extra character if I just shave my own head. Sorted.
I mean, so the first time you ever like cut your own hair, it's fucking tough, right? I mean, it will never get easy, really, because like I feel like at least it's always gonna be like hard to reach the back of your head and then not look like a complete idiot. But
I want to see a photo of that, dude.
like I got better with it. It's like it's not perfect, definitely not, but
I guess you just use like a shaver, right? Like a certain
yeah,
setting.
like but not on top. Like on top, I'm just gonna cut it with the scissors, right?
Right, yeah.
If you lose the war, shave all your hair off.
Oof. Oh
on.
no, I can't make that bet, dude. Not with those
come
odds. I feel like the war is like 50-50 right now.
Come
And
on, stream
that's
it, be
optimistic,
like-
probably. So
Go do it on stream,
On
dude.
stream, that'd be a huge event.
I'm
I'd
gonna
be
do it
like,
on
yeah,
stream. Nah, I'm not sure if I can do that.
my hair off.
I'm gonna make like a. Isn't that also like the thing when you completely shave your hair off? Like the first day, and your skin on the head looks completely different to the rest, right? So you look like a little bit weird.
Not
Isn't it?
really, because like it's still like I've still got hair there. It's just like small, so it's like a different shade, but you can't really tell it's like the skin's a different color, right?
I'll think about it.
What about
The
shaving
bullet.
your hair off?
Say again.
Maybe if we win the war, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, win the war, shave your hair. Okay, come on,
So-
do something. Something for your stream.
So all
Everybody wants you
Panfam,
to
please. All Panfam, please self-destruct your titans now, and then I'm gonna shave my head.
Just
But
gauge
yeah.
into a sacked, dude. See what happens.
Get into sacked.
Yeah, man.
It's a good idea. Yeah, I wonder.
Bye.
I wonder if there's gonna be that moment where it all kicks off. I hope it is. I hope there's going to be one. We'll see.
Super hyped for this war. Like, I really hope you guys do have a good war. Honestly, I know the numbers look stacked and stuff, but I really even when they were stacked in the last war, we still got fights out of it, right? And I really am hyped because going back to what we were saying earlier about FCs and FC teams and stuff, the greatest catalyst for wars is FCs. People feel the need to step up. Existing FCs get a lot of experience that's forced on them. And I can talk like firsthand for wars and teaching me to FC. A funny story once for one of the wars of Fountain. So this was after we conquered Fountain from Test. This was going back to the CFC days. I think NC and Black Legion and Darkness were invading Fountain. And I was very new to FCing back then, right? And I was doing a Harpy fleet it was called a pipe cleaning fleet, and K-Color had spun it up, and I was
pipe cleaning fleet. Who came up with that name? Come on, please.
Yeah, exactly. And we go up and down the pipe and then ensure it was secure from people that were camping like stragglers from previous fleets. And some guy jumped into my command channel. And I didn't know who he was. I thought it was important. And he was like, yeah, I need you to go to this system and this gate. And we went there and he was like, right, okay, now you're there. Just wait 5 minutes and cover me while I'm doing something with this POS. And I was like, oh, who are you? Like, who are you? And he's like, oh, I'm so-and-so. I think he said he was DR. He was big built. I think he said he was built. But I knew no better back then, right? And I was like, oh, okay, we'll cover you while you do this. Or he was a dude in FCON. I can't remember anyway. He was a spy, but he was like, yeah, wait here. And we waited for ages. And then K-Color said on Global, right, I need the pipe cleaning fleet to come home now because he just said come home. And then this guy in my command channel was like, right, I know K-Color's told you to go home, but I want you to wait. Please wait in this system and cover me until I'm done here. I'm part of GSOL. I'm helping them out with something. And then fucking NC jumped in local through the gate we were sat on. And we were only in Harpies, but still, like NC came in with 250 dudes. And I was trying to clear sabers off the fleet, right? And the sabers were getting rep from scimitars, and we just all died horribly. And I was just, and then I twigged, right? I twigged that this guy was what he'd done. And I was like, you know what? Fuck you, bro. Like, you know what? Fuck you. And it was one of those like moments where you learned the lesson of spies that say of somebody spying in your fleet quite harshly as well. It doesn't active spying like that these days doesn't happen, but because you don't get many gullible
really?
enemies, I was really not like that though. If somebody came to you and said that, you told them to get fucked. But like I was very gullible back then because I just wanted to do what I was told, right? I didn't understand anything about the game and so on. Glorious days, glorious. Yeah.
It's been a while since I heard
funny.
like a spy story like that so direct, right? That's like the Vetiza stuff, whopping shit around.
I mean, the only other time really that I've got not a big, but a spy story like that was when we were in Saarinen and we were contesting POSs. So, and PanFam, this was during the Casino War. PanFam had been reffing our POSs that we staged supers in at the time before we left to Delve. And, we needed to contest them, corp POSs. We needed to contest them for obvious reasons, try and keep dudes safe and so on. And, Jay was at the FC at the time, Jay Amazingness, and we got into a fight with NC. And we've been in Saarinen for so long, and we've been losing so many fights, right? We've been losing so many fights, but we didn't care because at this point, Goons was, the Imperium was the people you were flying with are the people that were always going to be there, that were always going to be by your side, basically, like Asher said on the stream last week. And anyway, we went in, and Jay started calling targets, but broadcasting different names. This was during the fight, and I was like, what is Jay doing? And I called him out for it on local in command, and he was like, Kendarr, shut the fuck up. And I was like, okay. And then afterwards, obviously, I twigged that, he was doing that to mislead spies, which is a tactic that's often forgotten in the game, I would say, these days. And this is why I'm saying to you guys now that, like, this war is going to be a huge catalyst because stuff like that is going to have to happen. Otherwise, you're going to have some, because look at the FRT and the Winterco and the test war. I know you guys were fighting each other with 250 mutants aside, and you both had spies on each other's comms, calling out on your own comms, oh, X, X character ADC now, your primary. And that's, that's just going to be what this war is. You need to remember that stuff during this war and make sure that you mislead your own spies in your own fleet as much as you can, because people are still going to follow the broadcast window and lock these dudes up and shoot them. So, you have to broadcast slowly as well, right?
And
not,
you know
not
what?
2 targets at a time, just one target, but mislead the name.
And you know what?
Giving away all the tank stuff so everybody can counter it.
Yeah, but so you know what? This whole spy call out who's primary kind of thing, it got even stronger now with the hack meta, with the ADC, right?
Yeah.
So there's that extra tank and all that stuff. But that's the reason why I usually only call targets with like, all right, next primary is X. I only say the first letter, and that's more like a reminder. Hey, there's a new broadcast. Lock that fucking target up.
I hate it.
I
hate it personally. I won't do it against people unless I really have to. And chossuh, the fight we had, well, it wasn't with you, but it was with one of your guys on Monday. We were during the Ferox fight. We were 100% doing that. We were calling out our characters to broadcast early for reps.
Oh, dude.
And it's just. I know it's a dirty tactic, but when you're fighting 180 dudes, and I have 50,
you can do that versus me, but don't do it against my newbie NFC, man.
No, but still, it's.
We have to learn early. Come on.
Yeah,
hey,
true.
man. Yeah, true. I mean, he doesn't know that though, and he perhaps would never have known that if I'd not, been honest about it on the stream. But it's something that I'm hoping this war really, really, really catalyzes FCs, and we see people gain a lot of experience from this war. But I guess we'll see. It's a terrible tactic. It really is. I hate it. I hate the whole spy meta, because that's what enforces the whole, let me interview you for my corp. Are you a spy?
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting actually, because in certain alliances you have to deal with this more often than in it. I guess you don't really have to deal with active comm spies very often, right? It's very rare that I suspect you'll have a dude sitting in your fleet relaying.
We're at the point in the game. We're at the point in the game where everybody knows what everybody's doing, at least ping relay wise. I can promise that.
Oh, I know. God damn it.
Yeah.
Fucking, I hate ping relays.
I'll give you 30 bill right now if you can relay to me the last ping I sent in CapF OPSEC.
How much? 40 bill?
30 bill. CapF OPSEC.
The problem is,
you know what? I would have to look it up. I would have to look it up on Discord. And if I do that, I would fucking leak on stream, right?
It has to be the OPSEC, though. It can't be the...
How many people are in that channel, though, if I can ask you?
35, 40.
Yeah, okay. So, that's a solid group. But still, it's, it's 35, 40 dudes. It's not a lot, is it?
Yeah,
for you guys.
It's a corp channel,
but it's enough. It's enough to do some shady stuff with.
All right. Yeah. Anyone on stream, I'm gonna pay you 5 bill if you send me whatever he pinged.
Dude, you're just gonna get CapF dudes send you YouTube screenshots.
Please, 5 bill. I mean, that's a good prize, isn't it? And I need the ISK for the war, guys.
I can listen to this guy. Ignore him.
Yeah. Guys, I think this war might not be as much of a traditional war as we just talked about. You know what I mean? It's going to be a lot of harassment based and stuff like this. I think PanFam is going to come in to Fountain.
That's the
try to
war.
Yeah, now it is. Yeah, nowadays it is. But I think the scale of this is going to be a little bit bigger, right? This is going to be.
Also,
if I have to make a prediction,
I think there'll be some new strats, that people employ to dish out some, to maximize the harassment as well. So that'll be interesting to see what people come up with.
Yeah, I'm also gonna test something new, right?
Oh, cool,
maybe not new, but I mean,
old new.
No, it's a config that nobody has done before. So,
okay.
Or a style of a config. I don't know how to describe it without giving it away. But yeah, I think that's going to be fun. But at the same time, it's going to be a large scale harassment kind of thing, right? I'm going to predict that PanFam is going to come into Fountain and try to overwhelm us with soft timers, anchoring structures, and the reffing structures, and all kinds of shit, right? That might be NC is going to be part of that. And that's my question to Noraus. Is Fraternity gonna focus on us too? God damn it. Right, because we kind of come from a direction.
Yeah,
So it's probably going to be Horde and Sea Fraternity hitting Fountain. So we're going to have some good, fleets to
I'm
fight
not sure
them.
about that, if it's going to be. I know what you're looking for, Pando. You're looking for them to come with, like, somebody to come at you just on their own, and then they're going to get punished. But I think you're going to see, you say, is it going to be FRT, Horde, and then C? It's not. It's going to be all of them.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I expect. Right?
Yeah, there's only one way, and, well, we'll see, I guess. I mean, speculation on my part. I'm good at speculation, but often completely wrong.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I know chossuh can't get anything away, give anything away, same for Noraus. So we're gonna leave it at that.
Yeah. Do we have time? Yeah, just to sidetrack us. Do we have time to talk about CCP mentioned on the stream last night that they did the economic stream that they're working on a fixed ESS. I think it's called an ESS for.
That is interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, we want to talk about that a little bit.
You know what?
do you
That's
think about
another
that?
thing. You asked earlier if they approached me for the Bush stuff.
Mm.
And ESS is also a thing that came up like over the years, every now and then. Right? It's not like recently, it's not like when CCP approaches people or the CSM guys, they don't approach you saying like, "Hey, we're gonna fix this. How do you want this?" Right? That's not what happens. Like what they usually do is like, so we're looking at this thing. Maybe they say like this or whatever, right? Like, any thoughts on this? Like, what's your take on the ESS or whatever, right? Stuff like this. And I think they did that to like almost like all like FCs and stuff. So I think they gathered intel on the ESS for a long time now, and I hope they get it right. I haven't looked at the details, but for roaming, that's definitely great.
There aren't any yet, and they did say on their stream that it's not in the roadmap. But yeah, I also have had some interaction with that from the CSM over the years, and I do think that I think it's a good thing personally. How they implement it will affect greatly how much of a good thing it is. In the current format, no, it shouldn't be in the current format. The format has been suggested is that the payout is automatic, so you can't sort of go and activate it. I'm not wording this correctly, but you can't go and activate it when you want. It's just it pays out on a tick like Rang does. That was what was suggested in the past. I don't know if that's what's going to be the thing, but yeah, I think it's definitely good for small gang. It's not just good for small gang; it's good for every scale really as well, because you could get into some not massive fights, but you could definitely get into big fights. And also, you have to think about how every group will react to these being implemented. So I'm sure with Horde, they'd have one up in a pocket, and then they'd have some sort of standing fleet defending that pocket, rather than having a huge standing fleet that covers all of TKE. Yeah, it's just me again speculating, but that might be. You'd have like this pocket's standing fleet, and then you can get a fight with just that pocket, and it might escalate. Somebody pings for Feroxes and brings a Ferox fleet. So
yeah, I think it has great potential.
Anytime that they can like introduce something which is like adds complexity to the game, in some ways, always good, because there'll always be some new kind of being developed. It's good that they keep. I'd like to see them like change things more often, just to keep people on their toes.
Yeah, and also why respecting the sandbox, right? Because that's a very much a sandboxy. In my opinion, it's very much a sandboxy sort of thing.
Yeah.
They did say as well that they want to review mining, which was interesting, right? Because mining's always been you lock up this asteroid belt and you shoot it with a laser, and then your minerals appears in your cargo hoard, and it's like, well,
I didn't know.
How else can you do that? That's interesting.
I didn't know they said that, but I always said imagine mining was a little bit more like a mini game, So you can get lucky and stuff. So you have those little, let's say compared to Minecraft, right? If you dig down and like into the ground, and then every now and then you find some diamond or gold or whatever you find, right? So every now and then you get lucky, and then you can like follow those, what do you call it? Streams? No, what do you call it? Like where the patch is, where you've got like some good shit. So you can mine that part out, and then you make some more money, and then you go to the next one or whatever, right? The vein, yeah, the gold. So you would have like a gold vein, or you have like a spodumane, a vein, right?
Spotty
So-
vein.
The spodio vein. So I think that would be interesting, and you know what? That's part of the rocket problem. It has been a part of the rocket problem is how easy it's like scalable, right? So that one guy starts with one rock art, he has enough money, boom, he gets a second rock art. Those 2 rock arts mine fast, boom, he gets 4 rock arts, and then he has 8, and then 16, and he's like making that bank. And I think that would fall away then, because then you're gonna make that mini game. Are you gonna write a bot for that? It's probably gonna be pretty tough. And I think CCP is on the right way if that's kind of the direction I want to go. So that's exciting, actually. Yeah. And I've never minded my life, right? So, and they're gonna be more distracted. They're not reading Intel all that much then. So there's more targets for us. So that's a good thing too.
Really interesting to see like what they do in the coming months. Like if they're going to actually go back to addressing the ore famine.
Well, I was banging the drum, right? Because I linked this to Pando last week to try and talk about on the stream the whole Triglavian belt miner that the Trigs have been deploying in systems that they conquer, and it looks just like a citadel. And I was really hoping that this was going to become a thing, like for low sec, because they're only deployed in low sec to get some sort of. I know people hate passive income, but we have more
In low
passive
sec, I
income
think
in
it's
the game
good.
now than we've ever had in the game because of market tax and the keep star in high sec. But yeah, it would basically mine the belts and so on. People could fight over them and give low sex alliances that chance to get going again and have a real reason to live in low sec if it is not already. You just choose, don't you? I think at the minute you only live in low sec because that's just the life you choose. There's no other reason.
I think I totally agree. If they say they want to bring passive moon mining back, but only low sec, I agree. I think that would be a good thing.
Be passive. Well, maybe, but I'm always hesitant about a CCP re-implementing old stuff. It should always be something better, in my opinion. So, like a lot of people push these days for strunt timers, and I think strunting as a mechanic was the worst game design ever. Personally, my own personal opinion. Having to have somebody around 24/7 that could strunt the tower as it was getting attacked was a terrible mechanic. Now, granted, most of you guys are a multi-TZ alliance or coalition. It's quite easy to handle. But for my own alliance, that's pure EUTZ. If somebody was to attack us in the USTZ, the tower would obviously strunt on whatever was in it. And you just, how do you know you're going to get attacked in the USTZ to begin with? What do you strunt the tower for? And you end up with a timer you can't defend. In my opinion, you should always be able to defend your stuff in your time zone. The problem is with the game is when people set their timers to a different time zone to what their own alliance is. So we deal with this in Pure Blind with a group called Banders. And they set their timers to
time zone tanking, right?
Yeah, they set their timers to 11 o'clock. And it's like, well, you're Russian. Is that a valid timer for a Russian group? Possibly is, but I don't believe so.
Better than for you, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So, if I want to attack their stuff, I can't unless the timer rolls toward. Well, I can't unless it's on a weekend. But then I can never kill the structure, right? Because we have to deal with 3 timers these days. The initial ref, the armor
exactly.
timer, which is why I pushed for when they did the 2.5 days thing on the whole timer. No, it should be 7 days. I know it's a really long timer. It was
no. That's too long. I know we had that long discussion, right? So the idea is that you can have all timers on the weekend if you want to, right? Maybe beside the initial ref. So the 2 timers following up can be on the weekend. So your point was an entire week is totally fine to wait to kill a structure. And my point was that's too long. You can't do that. So my point was, why not have the final timer just a day after the second timer? You can ref it so it comes out on a Saturday and then it comes out again on Sunday. I think that's acceptable. So you only have that 1 day. But I think 7 days, that would be ridiculous. Like a 7-day timer, oof. But I mean, in principle, we agree, I guess.
Yeah, what about you? Yeah, we do in principle because we're both getting weekend timers, right? But obviously the whole point of it being 5 days when it was, I think it was 5. No, not 5 days, but the defender selected the day. The whole point of that was that they could always have time to evac the structure. But obviously, if it's fueled fully, you've got asset safety to fall back on. It's a very complex discussion this around structure timers, but it's something
Yeah.
we just need some way to deal with TZ tanking, and maybe it's that it comes out a day later. I'd be behind that, Pando, because I achieve the same objective there on a weekend. I can be around at that time, but for most people that play EVE online, they play it in the evening, or when, well, not just their evening, but whenever EVE allows them to play, right? And if most of us have a job that's 9 till 5, that is the evening.
Yeah. What do you guys think? Noraus, chossuh?
Yeah, it's a really tough issue, right? Because you want to try and balance like defender kind of home advantage versus giving the attackers a chance to actually take the structure in an
Yeah.
kind of.
I mean, if they snipe it outside of your time zone, that's not fair. That's not fair at all. But you say you're EUTZ, you're all alliances EUTZ, you need to be able to defend that structure in EUTZ if somebody contests it. But maybe a USTZ guys, on a weekend will get up really early to come and contest it. Whereas in the weekday, it'd be very hard for them to do that, in my opinion. What do you reckon, Naris?
I agree that the final timer should be only one day after the armor got reinforced, because that way we can have a full weekend, with timers.
Yeah.
You have asset safety already to fall back on, right? I'm gonna make a Reddit post about this. I'm getting really worked up about it here. But
yeah.
I agree that I agree 1 day, because it should, when the armor layer dies on a structure, the structure services are offline. That structure is potentially now useless for whatever function it was doing because the services are offline. So what is it doing for 7 days? Well, it's doing nothing, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, so
why not 1 day? Yeah.
one argument is gonna be like, but hey, you only have that 1 day to evacuate, and that's not correct, right? If it initially gets revved and you don't feel comfortable or confident that you can defend it, why not already evacuate in, let's say, the 3 days? The first time it might just be 3 days, right?
I mean, we're also talking about like there's different structures which require different amounts of commitment, right? So like
Yeah,
in
that's
case
true.
of Astras and Athanors and stuff, these are relatively small structures which typically don't have huge, unless you're hitting like some T2 rigged Rytara that's doing some kind of I don't know, T2 reduction or something. Typically you're just hitting moons or stuff like that, or the Astras and shit like that. So like these typically don't like have like huge IS commitments inside them anyway from members, right?
And Willy is
if you're hitting Fortizars and you go up the scale, then usually something big is afoot anyway, so people are getting intel beforehand that these things are happening. So
correct in chat. Medium
Yeah,
structures,
agreed.
which are actually the smaller structures. People get confused sometimes. But Astros, Athanors, and Ratarus, like, why do they even have 3 timers? Right?
Do you know what? On that comment alone, he's just earned my vote if he runs for CSM again next year, because you're entirely right there.
He's
They
gonna
just-
get voted anyway.
If he's a CSM, like hopefully he's pushing for that. I really hope you're pushing for that, dude, because you're entirely right. I would ask that you make it so they have less timers to begin with, and then please revoke the whole, you need, if it's ADM 4 or whatever it is, you can't drop that structure. Because if people can deal with them in 2 days, then surely we don't need the whole, if the solve system is ADM 4, you can't drop it? Question mark. What do you guys think?
You know what? I'm kind of happy about that, especially
come
right
on.
now.
You should go back to
Yeah.
the tutorial and see how many citadels really dropped. 350.
Okay.
In that 50, in the 90 system, he dropped 350.
See, I'm looking at it from a small alliance perspective again, where it's like we drop a citadel. It's for it's a content citadel is what we call it. But if you're getting invaded, the bigger picture
Imagine,
here,
imagine
raids.
the fucking Hordlings are invading Fountain, and they can drop all the citadels they want. They're crazy. They might just do this,
Well,
they
we
might
did-
just drop like 10 fucking Retarus in every system. Who knows, right?
When I was in
2
Goons,
timers or not, I wouldn't fucking bother grinding that one.
when I was in Goons, we did try to freeport Geminet. So we tried to drop an Astra in every system in Geminet and freeport it. And at one point, I think we had like, I can't remember how many systems there are in Geminet. This is when they staged there as well. But we had like 20 Astras up in their space. The whole Roach motel thing, which is as effective as people believe. But yeah, it's fair enough. I mean, Villy's just saying in the chat now that the ADM4 was actually pushed by him because it was really abusive, and fair enough. But would you, do you think it's still abusive if let's say all medium structures had one timer, like POSs. So you ref it, you come back the following day, 24 hours later, and you kill it. Would you still say then that it's too abusive? Because I could bring POSs and spam your systems out with POSs, and if they were still valid, that was a thing back in the day.
Yeah, I guess you're right. If it's only one timer, I can accept that, no problem. But I think at least on a minimum
Sorry.
level, median structures should have like a shorter. Median structures should have a shorter, you know, invulnerable window. It should be only 24 hours, but for the larger ones, like for a Fortizar or Keepstar, you can still have like 3 days final timer on that.
I mean, who lives out of an Astra, right? If you're staging
A
out,
lot of people. A lot of people.
really,
What do you
no
guys think
market.
about, like, rather
Odd.
than like limiting, like increasing the ability to kill them, like doing like system-wide or constellation-wide like caps on how many you can actually have based on, you know, some ADM level or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, all I can say is I'm glad CCP seems to be touching on citadels. One of the biggest issues in the game are citadels in like several ways, I think. And then the ESS and all that. I think let's give them some time, right? Let's see what they come up with, and then hopefully Willy gives them good ideas. And
Hopefully, all the CSM give them good ideas. But yeah, I mean, citadels are a big thing because in my opinion, and in my eyes, from an FC perspective, I don't know if you guys will agree with this, they are the biggest content creator, content creation in this game.
what, citadels?
Yeah.
Well, no, I think they destroy content, to be quite honest. I thought
I'm all
stations were
about
better
those
for
spot
content.
belts, dude.
What?
I'm all about those spot belts.
The spot belts are the best content creators. You know what? For me personally, you know how much content I got out of raw calls and stuff like this, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and then
could
obviously if
see
you're
that.
dealing with an Athanor or a Tatara at the back of a rock, it's I think the one thing CCP need to come back and finally revisit is we need the ability to be able to in-cap specific modules on a citadel, much like POSs. I think that should be a thing. I think you should be able to come and shoot a citadel. It's a shield timer, right?
You know
And
what?
you're shooting the citadel. You should be able to then shoot the different modules on the structure to offline them. And then I think at the armor timer, as it is at the moment, anyway, at the armor timer, they should much like the Citadel will, they should auto repair and be ready, available instant. So that attacking fleet, can decide, do we shoot the fleet that's defending it? Do we shoot the Citadel and shoot these modules offline before this fleet starts attacking us that's trying to defend it? And then on the whole timer, again, the same. The modules come back online, and you have the option to defang the Citadel, let's say, because Citadels are they're not. Well, yeah, Citadels at the moment and their fitting are always taken into consideration by FCs. I think it applies less. That logic possibly applies less with you guys because you're dealing with so many dudes that you can perhaps negate the Citadel's fit completely. But on my scale, I would think that I'm never going to drop dreads on a cap gunned Fortizar grid because I know that I'm going to lose too many dreads or a fax or whatever. Or I know that the Fortizar is going to claim that say it's right in dreads or Fortizar.
It sounds like a Homeworld, dude.
What? Sorry.
Homeworld. You never played that game?
Yeah, but you could with
yeah.
passes though. You would go in and shoot a pass, and you would always shoot the modules if they were problematic for you to begin with.
Yeah,
That's
so
quite interesting idea.
You know what I was hoping for when they first introduced citadels, or when they first said they're gonna do citadels in some way, and they said way different things at the start, right? If you look back, it wasn't tether, it was mooring and all that stuff, but whatever. But what I was hoping for is like a modular approach, so you don't have like 50 different citadels in one system, but you would have one base citadel, and then you build on that, right? So you add, like I say, like an industry mod to it, and you add this and you add that, and then you have some more defenses on it, and you build a little city, you know what I mean? And then, but also, like, I wasn't thinking about tether range being so wide and like the defenses being so strong and all that shit, but like the keeps the DD and the PDS. That was like, when I heard about that, I was like, what the fuck? That's ridiculous to have that, right?
That was
So I was
easy.
thinking, at least
sorry.
then you have that one spot. If you jump into a system, you know that's the spot to go to, right? That's where the content is.
Yeah,
Right
that's
now,
actually what I missed about pre-Citadel. There was always when you're doing like small roaming gangs and stuff with the corp, whatever, then you could just if you just warp a dictator to the stationing system, you'll
Yeah.
5 times out of 10 you'll get some guy warping to that station and panic. And I really missed that about now that's virtually impossible unless you have scattered that system before or the people are in there or whatever, or have
Yeah.
POIs, for example.
How many times, like, because the station was way smaller, right? And the dictator didn't he didn't get PDS for free. Like, how many times do you either catch something or someone in the station is curious and wants to see what's going on, and he undocks, has a look. Oh, I'm gonna have a look, and I'm gonna show him my fucking toy ship. Like, how many times did we have like jets and stuff undock when we are like in a system with like 20 dudes, and they just undock to like, I don't know, pose to a degree and stuff like this, right? And then one of them bumps, and suddenly content for everyone, right? It's like so many times, right? Or sometimes it's bait.
I remember during the Fountain War, there was I think it was the last test stand, which was 6 VDT, and we showed up with an insane amount of mega fleets back then, and this carrier pilot undocked, like with his carrier at the time fit for max tank, and I was like amazed at how fast 12 Megathron fleets basically evaporated his carrier. But yeah, 100%. I think the whole Tether thing, Pando, was like, I like to call it legacy baggage. Like, they looked at POSs and what POSs offered, and then they looked at Citadels and were like, Citadels are going to replace POSs, so we must do tethering because, in a POS, you had a bubble and you couldn't be touched inside that bubble. And it was the wrong approach, in my opinion. But hopefully, in time, the CSM will push for tethering to be removed at certain points. Maybe it's a module you can shoot and then the tethering goes offline. Maybe it's, who knows? Maybe it's just when it's in an armor timer or the shield is gone, the tethering goes as well. Who knows? But yeah, there definitely needs to be, especially on medium structures, again, stuff needs to be split by different class. Because if you invest 300 bill into a Keepstar, would you ever expect tethering to go offline? Probably not.
At
But
the
if
same
you
time, you would want consistent rules, right? You don't want tether to be like sometimes on, sometimes off. Like, that is a headache. Like, it has to
for
be
time
either or.
yes, and then people make mistakes unless they know the game. So I would argue, yeah, you do want that because it makes all these structures much different. Like if I drop a citadel and you shoot the shield, tethering's gone, or maybe sorry, I say a citadel, I mean an Astra house, or maybe medium structures no longer get tethering full stop. Then I know that my 1 billion investment just for the whole of the Astra, I think they're 1 billion, maybe they're a bit more, is I don't get tethering. But if I drop a Fortizar, tethering is an option. A Keepstar, tethering is an option. So the same for all the medium structures, really. On Athanors especially, I don't think they should offer tethering. I think that guys should have to dock, but then there's an argument against being forced to dock up. So yeah, it's a hard balance. Is what wins there? Should a guy that plays this computer game be forced to dock up because the structure is on? Doesn't offer him the ability to see what's on the structure.
All right.
I
I don't know. And I think it's probably a good moment to cut it here because we're actually over 2 hours. Usually I want to do 1.5 hours. I have not succeeded with it. It's always gone to 2 hours now.
do more streams, Pando. Stream twice a week.
Stream every day, dude. Oh wait, no, you do.
No, you know what? I don't think I could do the podcast twice a week.
You guys snuck in a Kiki fleet into TKE when I was busy with other things.
It must have been Shines then. I have nothing to do with it. Not every Kiki fleet from NS is me FC. So. Alrighty. Guys, I would say thanks for coming on. I enjoyed it very much. I hope the guys on stream also enjoyed it. And yeah, thanks for hanging out, everyone. And see you on the next one.
Yeah, I'll see you in a bunch.